Today I want to speak about .NET Authorization Fallback policy. It's a very useful thing in my opinion, but underutilized. I rarely see anyone use it. So let's talk about it. So I have the standard Web API project, and with weather forecast controller, I have authentication and authorization setup. Usually the authorization looks something like this. We have some policies, the default policy, and for authentication, for demo purposes, I have a basic authentication handler that will always return that the user is unauthenticated. So as you see, the default policy requires the user to be authenticated. That means if we have the authorize attribute, a request to any endpoint in this controller will fail. Let's check that. I will call the weather forecast endpoint. As expected, we got unauthorized. Now let's say a developer is developing some new controller, maybe a new endpoint, and he just forgot to specify the authorization. So there will be no authorized attribute, and what will happen in this scenario, anyone can access this endpoint. And it might be a security issue. Usually testers will catch such scenarios, but sometimes it might slip through and it will be a serious issue. So let's try calling the same endpoint now without the authorize attribute. And as you see, we can reach it even without being authenticated. An easy way to prevent such scenarios is to set the fallback policy. The fallback policy will be applied whenever there is no specific authorization configured for controller or endpoint. So that means neither authorize with some policy, or even allow anonymous. Even if we have allow anonymous, the fallback policy will not apply, because there are some scenarios where we want to have actually a public endpoint reachable for everyone. So if we don't specify anything, what will happen? We have an assertion that will always return false. That means if the fallback policy is applied, we never allow the request to pass. Let's try that. And as you see, we got unauthorized. And here with this little line, we can apply secure by default principle to all of our endpoints. I hope this helps and I hope you learned something new.